Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a Wake the Republic only stream. And the reason for that is because I got another strike on Mr. Thrive and Survive from a video about 1.5 to 2 years old. Are you ready for this? Harassing and bullying. The title of the video was Julian Assange's possible connection to Q. Bullying and harassing. How is everyone tonight? Hope you're all doing well. So I can't even upload a notification to Mr. Thrive and Survive to say that we're going live here. That's what I've been talking about. The only reason why something that old is now coming up is because someone is personally attacking the channel. That's why. Someone is sending in complaints about old videos and things like that. So somebody's butthurt because they probably got proven wrong on the globe or something else. So hello, Jeremy, Deborah, Stanley. I need the beach. Robert Klotz in Colorado. High vibes. Hello, Bonnie Gilbert, Anna the Evangelista. High vibe 16 Yukon Flat. Joyce Marie, thank you for the kind words, Joyce. And Templar Knight. Markio 306, J-Reb 14. I think I got everybody now. Marty 80. Hello. Ontario announced vaccine passports for the province. Isn't that special? You know, I was ready for a speech today. By the way, you can see my my hairpiece got cut today. We're going to try to make it an hour and a half today, guys. I'm really tired, busy day, and because I got my hair cut today, I got to get in the shower. My back is itching like crazy from the little hairs and stuff, so you know how it is. Going to start off talking about as far as I can tell, no new news at all about the election. Audit here in Arizona. I do like this by the New York Mag. They have an article, and it says, why the Arizona election audit circus just won't end. You know what I keep doing. Tick-tock, tick-tock. You know, the last we heard was, the report is slightly delayed just because 3 of the members that were doing the report came down with COVID. I haven't heard a thing since then. That's been a week and a half ago. Foxhole. No, I haven't looked. I haven't even heard of Foxhole. High vibes. So thanks for that. I'll you put that down to look for that. So search for Foxhole stream. Oh, that's a multiplayer game thing. See, I've looked at those before, and they usually get weird with stuff. They won't censor you, but getting people there and signed up and all, it could be the nightmare. Hello, Stanley. So anyway, I thought that was a very good way to put it. Why the Arizona election audit circus just won't end. And I'm not going to read it to you because it's everything you know already. But I'm going to give you a couple other things that I think are interesting. We got something interesting from Ivy's Intel that I actually took a screenshot of it, I think, to show you guys. Oh, I'm so tired of this stuff. MelQ. 3-year Delta. Look to Telegram. There was a General Flynn tweeted on Telegram, and he misspelled Taliban, and he missed the I. So what they did was they took the I and put it in gematria, and it equals 55. So they go to Q55. Look to Twitter, exactly this. My fellow Americans, the storm is upon us. Please. So her conclusion is the storm is upon us. This was from, I think, August 26th, something like that. Um, tick tock, tick tock. It's all bull crap. It's all bull crap. Nothing is upon us, not till we can see it. Where is it? I guess I didn't screenshot that one, so I'll have to. It's easy to find it. For those who think Trump's coming back, according to this intel here, it says clock is ticking, tick tock, tick tock. September 12th is the last day for this executive order. Things must come to pass in order for this to be enforced. If not, all is lost. Imposing certain sanctions in the event of a foreign interference in a United States election. Search, browse, and learn about the Federal Register 2.0, blah, 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 blah. It goes into the, they're talking about the Insurrection Act, which expires on the 12th of this month. And then here's the conclusion. Yes, our POTUS will be back very soon. Last day of Insurrection Act. So let's start a little clock. Don't hold your breath. We have 11 days. So according to this, at least we have a deadline on something. At least we have a firm date. We know when things expire at least. So let's see if things really shake out by the 12th of September. They'd have to bring people along more in the next 10 days than they have in the last, well, since November 20th, right? Or November of 2020, rather. So we're talking now 9, 10 months, 11 months, 10, 11 months. Heard Trump has canceled Project Camelot, probably from jabs. And I'm not just saying that because always follow CDC guidelines, by the way. Now that you mentioned that, this was Fox News reporting. WHO, you know who that is. Always follow WHO guidelines too. Investigating new COVID-19 variants. So this is from the WHO. This is from the World Health Organization. You can't make this up. Investigating new COVID-19 variant named MU, MU. The World Health Organization said it is monitoring another new COVID-19 variant with mutations that the agency fears could make it resistant to vaccines, which means you have to develop new ones and get all that money again. That's what it means. Yeah. I didn't save the one, but there was one that was talking about how they have found carcinogenic material along with some other material in certain things that are going around right now. So anyway, impeach Biden time. He ain't going to get impeached. Not going to happen. Not that I see anyway. Michael B, glad you made it. Hello, Mike. Hello, Mike Ball. Mike pays attention to this. Have you heard anything at all? I haven't heard a thing. Now I could be missing it because I've been doing a lot. On the election update. Oh, okay. So not only are you bumming people out about the AZ audit, which is moving along swimmingly, but you are going to use and agree with the MSM article that calls it a circus. I think the circus is that it just keeps going on and on. I think that's their point. Want me to read the article? I guess you don't. So give me the update. I have it now. Granted, I was still going to come on Monday on this channel, but that's the day I sold my car, and that meant I had no car, so I had to get another car, and that didn't get all done until just before 8 o'clock at night. I got home, so that wasn't going to work, and I didn't know as I was going through the day that it was going to take that long. So what is going on swimmingly since the last COVID breakdown where they couldn't hand it in? What am I missing, Mike? We were supposed to have a report by the end of August, or the first week in September, to the public, if I remember correctly. Maybe I'm wrong, but I know in August they were supposed to have the report to the Senate before the last week of August. I mean, I'm scrolling through. I don't see anything. I searched for Arizona audits. I didn't see anything new. Let me see. Maybe I'm missing something. Arizona Attorney General ruled that Board of Supervisors must turn over the routers. They have about 22 days. Why do they have 22 days? I mean, that's great news. But why do they have 22 days? They've had 220 days. Did I hear anything about the CME that's supposed to happen tomorrow? I'm brain dead right now. What is a CME? Yeah, I know they handed in a partial report, and they had to stop because they had COVID. They couldn't give them a full report. That's still we're still at that status. That was 2 weeks ago. I mean, I could be messing. You know what? Let me go to DuckDuckGo. Maybe they have something. Let's see. Let's make it in the past week. We'll look at those articles. Here's what they are saying. This is today. Arizona audit. Senate will continue fight to keep records. Keep records what? Keep records. And what? Arizona Senate wants to keep nearly 2,900 audit-related documents from public view. Oh, that's good news. The Arizona Senate is continuing to fight the ad blocker popped up. Hold on. I'm actually going to pause ad blocks to be able to read this if I can find it. I don't see it. I'm not going to search for it all day. Anyway, that didn't sound good. Let me go to some other place. Let's see. Attorneys argue in court about Arizona Senate. It's loading. Attorneys argue in court about Arizona Senate not releasing audit records. This has got to be left-wing here. Arizona's bogus forensic audit report on 2020 presidential election delayed after CyberNinja's CEO contracts COVID-19. Boy, that isn't loaded, is it? That was August 23rd, so that's 9 days ago. Trump helped bankroll Senate audit, so who cares? Does that mean it's wrong? Then? Well, this one looks good. Let me see. Arizona Senate releases audit records following court order. Let's see. On Tuesday, in response to American Oversight's public records lawsuit, the Arizona Senate released thousands of pages of records related to its partisan audit. Who's this by? American Oversight. Left. Oh, and now they want me to. No thanks. No, I'm not joining you, and I'm not donating. On Tuesday, in response to America's Oversight Public Records lawsuit, you can't get anything black and white anymore. Everything's loaded. According to an accompanying privilege log, which lists records that had been withheld because of legislative and other privileges, Senate President Karen Fann exchanged multiple texts with U.S. Representative Paul Gosar in the spring regarding the investigation and its vendors. The new records also contain August emails between Fann, who cares? Oh, and they're tying it into the U.S. It stopped the steel rail that preceded the attack on the U.S. Capitol by a mob of Trump supporters. What a rag. American Oversight. Piece of S. Anyway, you can't get anything from the news. All right. Let me get that link. Thanks for sending that link. All right. Let's see. AZ Mirror. Attorney General's office says Maricopa County must provide routers to Senate audits. Maricopa County Board of Supervisors broke the law by refusing to comply with a subpoena for the routers. What did the Attorney General do about it? Used by its elections department, regardless of whether the Senate has the power to enforce that demand, the Attorney General's office has concluded. He concluded they broke the law, but he didn't freaking arrest them. The supervisors must now determine whether they'll provide the disputed routers. The supervisors must now determine whether they will provide the disputed routers to the Senate for its self-styled audit of the 2020 general election, or whether they will appeal the decision, tick-tock, tick-tock, to the Arizona Supreme Court. The county has until September 7th to decide what to do. September 27th. God, let's just string us out to October now. If the county challenges the Attorney General's findings, we'll have to put up a bond with Mary Sue. So what? President Karen Fann first demanded the routers in a January subpoena. It's September. And why do they have 22 more days? I don't get it. There is no justice in the land. And then if I didn't turn over something I was subpoenaed to in January, I'd be doing a stream from jail. And then in a follow-up subpoena in July after the supervisors refused to comply. So she's done it twice. Now she's doing it 3 times. When the county again refused to provide the routers to the Senate, Senator Sonny Borelli asked the Attorney General to weigh under the 2016 law designed to punish cities and counties for violating state laws. In the report of his finding, what is, I don't get it. If I violate a state law, if you violate a state law, we know what the answer is going to be. In the report of his findings that the Attorney General's office released Thursday, blah, 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 the Senate unquestionably has the legal authority to subpoena the routers, citing a judge's ruling in February. So they subpoenaed, the AG says it's legal, and a judge said, yes, it's legal. They must comply. This is in February. He noted that the county never disputed that it refused to fully comply with the subpoenas. The Senate has the same authority to issue the subpoena as it had to issue the January 2021 subpoenas. The Senate has broad discretion to determine what additional information is still needed. The county argued that it essentially wasn't breaking a state law requiring compliance with legislative subpoenas because the Senate has no power to enforce the subpoenas. The Senate isn't currently in session, meaning it can't introduce or vote on a contempt resolution. Oh, what a nightmare. So they're arguing back and forth whether they can enforce it or not. But the Attorney General says it's enforceable. I don't understand the problem. A pair of audits commissioned by the county earlier this year concluded that the machines were not connected to the internet, as some conspiracy theorists have alleged without evidence. No, there's evidence. Go see the work of the Pillow Man. Nonetheless, the Ratters have become a fixation for some supporters of the election review. Former President Donald Trump, whose false claim of election fraud prompted the audit in the first place. That's right, it's a false claim, YouTube. Repeatedly mentioned them during the speech in downtown Phoenix last month. Cyber Ninjas had planned to provide the first part of the draft report to the Senate on Monday, with the remainder delivered at an unspecified later date, but the Senate announced that day that the Cyber Ninjas, Doug Logan, and 2 other members of the audit team contracted COVID-19, causing unexpected delays in the report. And there's a link there, so I may click on that. Fans said the remainder of the draft report would be delayed because of the county only recently provided digital images of ballot envelopes. I told you that was going to delay it out, which the county said it actually turned over in April. They even disagree when the evidence has come in. What a nightmare. Mike says what we're seeing is the good guys doing it by the book while exposing how the bad guys flaunt the law. Okay, well, according to the executive order, they have until what, September 12th? For the Insurrection Act before it expires. I don't know if that's true or not. It's just what she has in there. I'm just reporting. So it looks to me like everything's still basically where it was. We'll just see what happens now. We'll see if we have an attorney general here that actually has a spine or not. That's right, Randy. You can't even trust the weatherman on television saying it's a mirage. I reckon you can say he told the truth. All you see on television is a mirage. Very good. I agree. So when I got my hair cut today, I had my speech all ready because I saw on the window, after I got there, it said on the window, mask required. So I was going to go in and I was actually going to record it, my speech. But that's just the thing on the window. Nobody inside had a mask on. Nobody working there and nobody sitting in the chairs. So anyway, the Star of the Beast chat speech. I wanted to show you guys something that I don't know if I should show, but let me see if it actually got to my email. I guess I could show it. I just have to be careful in my commentary, okay? Let me see if it's there first. It's there. All right, let me download it. This is from someone who had their phone and recorded the Twin Towers on 9/11/2001. And the caption I read under it was, people back then didn't realize that 20 years later, people would be uploading this stuff to social media. But this is very interesting. You don't need to hear it because there it is. I'm going to let it play. That was the main part right there. Then we're going to do some stuff. Notice what's not flying in the air. Let's put it that way. Nothing's flying in the air. Nothing. Let's go back earlier. Even if it's coming in from the other side, you would see it. Now, what I noticed on this one is, which I've noticed before, but I just kind of forgot about it. See if I can catch it here. You know what? It shows it better when I can see it big on my phone. This is the biggest I can make it here. What you see is you see puffs of smoke before anything happens there. There's little teeny puffs of smoke, especially on the right side, which I can't even see with this resolution. But you can see. If anything, we should see something coming left to right the way this explodes out. You know, sort of like back and to the left evidence to prove true. Front and to the right. Remember they told us that was coming out the right was the nose of something? There's nothing there. Absolutely nothing there. Nothing's approaching. Building's not big enough to hide a 747 or whatever it was, DC-10. Not from a distance coming in. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting. Always believe what the government narrative is, though. Always. Good evening, DMB. What's happening right before our eyes, Mike? You're talking about, it looks like from your last one, you're talking about Japan. Japan is on the ball. A lot of these countries overseas are on the ball. That's because they don't have agencies that are tied into profit making with the people that fund them. They don't have that set up in other countries. Yeah, well, for at least, I think it's for at least 7 to 10 days, something like that. I'm banned on the other one because I said Julian Assange and Q, there was a connection. That's not true, YouTube. It's not true. It's not true. But anyway, evidently I said that, and that is harassing and bullying. I don't know who it harasses and who it bullies, but they're just trying to take my channel down. Yes, that's what I was, part of what I was looking for. Thank you, J-Reb. Yes, a certain thing was recalled, 1.6 million doses due to magnetic substance found. Magnetic and metals and carcinogenic. Hello, JT. Exactly, high vibes. You've seen the exact same video showing a jet or something, right? And the one I saw was added later, yes. Yeah, I saw that, Ben, but I don't believe it was fake. What you saw was, you saw a picture of the C-30 or whatever it was, and they're all around it. There's only one thing that gives me pause about that. And what they did was they showed on the side how you would have certain markings on there that didn't show. But they didn't show because the plane was in the shade on that side. As soon as the sun hit that side, you could see those little cutouts and openings that should be there. The thing that did give me a little bit of pause was if you're anywhere near those engines when they're running, you'll get sucked in. That happened on the carrier I was on. A guy got sucked in. I think it was an A-10 attack aircraft. It was spinning. The engine was just, going on, warming up on the deck. And a guy got too close. He got sucked in. And he was splattered all over the island. The tower that sticks up in the middle of the carrier. And they actually had to go up on ladders and scrape his body, guts, everything off of the side. It was gross. Maybe just a scam to get rid of all the industrial waste. Yeah, it can't be a jet. It'd be the only 4 jets in history that crashed with no fuselage, no wings, nothing left of it. Except for the engine. No fuselage, no wings, nothing else. The engine at the Pentagon, but the engine didn't match the aircraft that supposedly crashed there. It came from a different engine, came from a different aircraft. Somebody didn't do their homework is what they did when they tried to put it all together. So anyway, what I just did was, personally on Monday, I got rid of $330 of payments on cars, and plus cut my insurance in half, pretty much. So that should help me. Let me see if there's anything else I'm missing. Oh, what's this? I can't repeat that. So sorry. It's nothing but a bunch of cuss words in it anyway. I thought it was about something else. It's the windshields that just don't look right too. You know, we don't know what's true. We're not over there. We don't know. We don't know. And we have to take the word of our media, please. The one that ranked dead last out of the 29 leading countries in trustability by the other 28 countries. Shanksville Memorial is a freaking joke. They have a t-shirt shop built into the museum. Unbelievable. That's sort of like when you go to Israel. So you can do the you can walk the walk that Christ did with the cross to Calvary. And it just so happens that you have to cut in to where Jewish shops are along the way. It's like the whole world's a scam. Christian church in Kabul was martyred. Yep, that I believe. Sucked in or blown away. Look at an old Top Gear episode about jet engines. Blows cars away, send them rolling. These guys in front, behind would be dead running that close to engines. Yeah, I can remember on the flight deck, there was a F-14 way up forward, and there was a chief way in the back. Around the port quarter, and that the F-14 turned, and it took that chief and flipped him. He finally grabbed it. One of the what did they call them? Little metal tie down things, the little metal spiders or whatever you call them that you would chalk and chain the aircraft to. I can't remember what they're called, tie downs or what were they called? Anyway, I'm brain dead on that right now. But yeah, it'll blow you all over the place and burn you. You'll see when you see real video of people on the flight deck, you'll never see skin exposed. Everything is covered. Gloves. I don't care if it's 110 degrees outside. You have a jacket on. You have long pants on. You have a head covering. You have your face covered. Everything is covered. Why? Because you could literally burn your skin off if you're near an engine that's turning. And you don't have to be, you can be in the clear, but that plane all of a sudden turns up ahead, so its engine then faces you. I can remember many times going into this position like this to keep from burning, because it still will burn you. It's the third most dangerous job there is in the world. Was it the third or second? Second or third most dangerous job in the world is working on the flight deck of an aircraft carrier. That's why the Navy pays you well, back then in the 80s, they paid you $89 a month for hazardous duty pay if you worked on the flight deck. I remember getting it. The number one was underwater electric welding. That was the deadliest. And I can't remember the one that was sandwiched in between. Pilot getting sucked into jet engine 230 mark. Is this in Afghanistan, Mike? They say the guy lived. It can happen where a person lives. That is if something gets in there, like if they have steel-toed boat, if they go with like feet first and the steel boots stop the engine because it can't chew that up. But that's rare. Most people do not survive that. GoPro, very good point. Same people calls 9/11 calls the botch in Afghanistan. Couldn't agree more. Crab fishing is dangerous. I used to enjoy catching crabs. That is one tiring job, going out to catch crabs. Pass in Texas, no permit needed to carry a handgun. That's good. That's the only difference between us and, let's say, Australia right now, where if the people are riled up enough here, they can stand up against a tyrannical government. They can't do it in places like Australia, and I guess not in Canada either, or the UK. Building 7 class wasn't even mentioned in the official 9/11 Commission report. I wonder why. Because if they mentioned it, they'd have to say what brought it down. What was is the plane that crashed into Shanksville sent shock waves, and it happened to hit that other building, Building 7. Let me see something here. I just realized, Mike, that you sent a link with that. .230 mark. Started to feel creeped out just watching it for a second. Oh! I might have nightmares over that tonight. That's one of the things when I worked on the flight that I worried about the most. I mean, I would go up to, and the problem was you had to get to where you had to go, and you would feel the side of the engine to see if you could feel it running. And the problem was sometimes you couldn't tell if it was that one running or was the vibration coming from an engine from a plane parked right next to it. It was scary. But actually, Mike, the guy never got sucked in at all. That was an optical illusion because you have conservation of momentum. They're all in one system, so they all move together. John, you don't like boats or planes, you prefer wheels and ground. I actually prefer planes. Even the guy later said has some broken bones. Sometimes the helmet can clog it just right, too. So many things are dangerous up there. It's not just that. But, for example, we had one of the wires. There's 1, 2, 3. There's 4 wires on the flight deck that the planes, the hooks come down and they catch it. And then it's a cable about that thick. I mean, it's thick. It's a thick cable. And it's a big hook that drops in off the back of the aircraft. And when they land, it grabs one of those cables, and the cable stretches out, and you hear this if you're down below desks, but it's steam stopped too. That's what stops the aircraft. See, because the aircraft, they land at full throttle. Because if they miss that, they need to take off again because they can't stop in time. They won't stop in time. So they land at full throttle on an aircraft carrier. So when they land, it's like, whee! Then when they realize they're caught, you hear it cut down. but not until they realize they're caught. Well, what happens is they stretch out that cable, they disconnect them from the cable, and then the cable gets rewound back up. There's gears underneath that they push a machine, and it rewinds that cable back till it's taut again. Well, in one instance, they were I think it was the number 3 cable. The plane caught the number 3, and then they were reeling that back in, and before it was reeled in, the next plane was landing and caught I think he caught the same cable as it was being retracted. Well, it snapped. The cable snapped. And I was on the front, thank God I was on the front part of the aircraft carrier when that happened. I was up checking the fuel of a helicopter. And I just hear this, that's all I heard. I looked around, I was like, what was that? Didn't think anything else about it. Next thing I know, I see all these emergency vehicles and stuff going to the back of the carrier, and then about amidships there was a helicopter sitting there with no tail. This thing whipped back, sliced the helicopter, just sliced the tail off of it. And then there was a guy sitting in a fire truck, and it caught him right in the chest, cut him smooth into the chest. Another guy further back, it caught him at the knees, cut him up. Now, I didn't know all this. I could see the helicopter damage, but I didn't know anything else that happened. So a little bit after that, I'm down in the mess hall eating, and you had to go through the mess hall to get to where sick bay was. Well, all of a sudden, somebody's running through with a big clear plastic bag that's got somebody's 2 legs in it from the knees down, shoes on it and everything. He's running, and it's got ice in the bag. And believe it or not, we were in the Caribbean doing workups then. They got this guy off the ship and took him to a facility they had down there in the Caribbean. And we found out, I don't know, 6 months later, something like that. Not only did they get his legs back on, but he had full function back. All the nerves reconnected, everything. That's how clean the slice was. And because they preserved everything, he was fine. Of course, the guy cut in 2 at the chest, he wasn't fine. Yes, Coriolis does come into play when sucked into a jet engine. See, that was obviously north of the equator because he went clockwise into it. He would have gone counterclockwise into it if he was south of the equator. Jason, I think I answered the question. They don't snap on their own. They snap if they happen to be caught while being retracted. And that plane that caught it, he was being waved off but didn't see the wave off. I heard the catapults are going back to steam driven. I didn't know they stopped being steam driven. Yeah, Rich, we were all astounded when we heard that he had full function back. We were like, but I hope he still got out of the Navy if he wanted to get out. I'm sure he did. He probably gave him a medical discharge. Interesting info, J-Reb. I can't read it. You know, I'm still getting messages from even after I went through 2 videos explaining the angle of incidence with Snell's law. Hell, when you're shore to shore, your angle of incidence is 0. And I'm still getting arguments from Pollster X saying, no, it's 90 degrees. It's so simple. Bunny says, while we are distracted, the people who can are moving ma'am, into readiness in your city. Trained guerrillas who stealth at 3M. Where are the men doing neighborhood watch? We have the intel. I have no idea what you're talking about, Bunny. Unfortunately. Hungry Lion says, what is your opinion on relative density disequilibrium versus electrostatic downward vector stabilizing with flat Earth community. I have no opinion on it because I don't know what you're talking about. No, Poster X is not correct. It's very easy, Igor. Very easy. Very easy. Where is the normal line? How do you determine what the normal line is? I even showed a chart that showed that it is vertical where they do this standard refraction, like up to 40,000 feet or whatever, not horizontal. Thank you, J-Rab. It is so simple. It's so simple. It's not that they can't grasp it. They don't want to grasp it because it may change. It changes what they think about the Earth. Because they were told that since a child, even though they haven't been given any evidence of it, even though we provide the evidence otherwise. So, come on, Igor. You want to engage? Normal line is perpendicular. No, normal line could be horizontal, but perpendicular to what? Very good, Igor. Okay, perpendicular to what? Perpendicular to what? You're doing good. You're doing good. I'm impressed. Where's Charlie tonight? He's under the bed because we have a storm going on. So if all of a sudden everything cuts off, that's what it was. Exactly, J-Rep. Cognitive distance. Igor, I'm impressed. So let's go by the logic. Normal line is perpendicular, but perpendicular to what? This is good. We have somebody that actually is willing to engage, and he must know what he's talking about. So far, anyway. Look what we have here. So let me ask you, perpendicular to the density layers. You mean perpendicular to where the density layers change. Very good, Igor, you're on the ball. You are on the ball. Igor knows his stuff so far. You've got 2 out of 2, my friend. Very good. Let me go to this. So what you have here is you have, let's just say this is water and this is air. The white area is air and the dark area is water. So he's saying the normal line is perpendicular to the density change. Do you agree with that? Perpendicular to the density change. So if you're on this pink line or red, whatever this is, pink, this pinko line, Joseph Stalin line, we'll call it the Stalin line. You are at 0 degrees. There is no bend. You see no bend. If you're looking at, this is a straw sticking in water, you see no bend. But if you're over here, let's say this is 30 degrees from the normal perpendicular line, perpendicular to the density change, you will see it bend. If you go from less dense to more dense, it will bend down. If you go more dense to less dense, it will bend up. Funny how they always say in our example, it's going from less dense to more dense, which, you know what? I got a problem with too. I haven't even talked about that yet, but let's just look at this. So let me come back to the stream. That's right. There must be 2 meanings. Yeah, we're not changing air to air. That's 1.0 to 1.0 using Snell's law. But let's just, but there's a density change because one's more dense than the other. Okay. Now let me do a little diagram. So give me just a moment, guys. And we'll try to do this. exactly the way we do our stuff. So he just admitted it's perpendicular to the normal line is perpendicular to where the density change is. Makes sense, and that is 100% correct. All righty now. Oh, come on, change the color. All right, now let's do this. Igor, good. We 100% agree. Now, let's just see if you can go to the last step. Because we agree 100% so far. 100%. So let me share something else. All right. Now let me just pick a color that makes some sort of sense here. Not perfect, but we'll do our best here. All right, here we are. We're up here. Let's pick a neutral color. We're looking down here. We're flying we're in a helicopter flying up here, and we're looking down at the water, and we see this stick sticking in the water. We will see we're going from less dense to more dense. Igor agrees with this. We're going to see no change. However, if we look at it from this angle, and since we're going from less dense to more dense, we're going to see the line do, I don't know, something like this, whatever, or it'll bend from its normal position because we're off by a certain angle, and you can use Snell's law for that. All right, now here's the deal. Let me see. Get rid of this first. Bear with me a moment. I wasn't prepared to do this. So let me just fill this in. There we go. Let's make an American Indian. How's that? Okay. We have an American Indian over here. He's standing there, and he's got a flashlight. And he's shining that flashlight in this direction. Here's a guy over on the other shore. Let's do this. Here's a guy on the other shore. He's looking to see if he can get him. He's 17 miles away. Now, what everybody says, they're saying the light is going to bend up because there's a change of density, because it's more dense over the water. So what we have is, we have from this line right here, and to the right, that is less dense. From wherever the water is over to the other side, okay, all of this in between is more dense. All right, so we're going from less dense. Now, if I could, let me see if I can do this. I just want to show the density change, but I don't want to use that. We'll use that. See, it's more dense over the water. All right. Now, so we go from less dense here, more dense, to the observer who's right on the shore. So they say it bends the light so he could see it. Okay, fine. Here's the problem. This guy on the left, he is looking. Hold on. He is looking perpendicular to the normal line. The normal line is where the density changes. The normal line is right here. Here's the normal line on the other side, right there. It's not up, down. We're looking left, right. And the density change is because the density of the air of the water supposedly is more. So it bends the light in the perfect direction. So it always raises the light up on this side for this person. But the angle of incidence is 0. We're looking perpendicular to the normal line. Not only that, but even if, because they'll say, because the water temperature is usually colder. Well, we had situations all day where we had the water colder, about the same as the air temperature, and warmer than the air temperature. Because we did morning, afternoon, and evening observations. And it was not at a time of the year where it was super hot. So the water temperature was close. And guess what, guys? It's usually, if the temperatures are close, it'll be less dense over the water. Why? Because moist air is less dense than dry air. I'll say that again. Moist air is less dense than dry air. And I had my 3 thermometers, and I held them over the water, and I held them over the land. And we had people at each location when we did the 3-way mirror test. And the difference in density was virtually nothing. I mean, it was like 0.0000 whatever. It was ridiculously low because the temperatures were so close and there wasn't that much more moisture over the water than over the land. So hopefully that makes sense. So we're looking perpendicular to the density change. We're not looking up and down, we're going left, right. And that's where the density change, according to people on the globe side, say happens. It's where it has to happen. Up, down, who cares? We're not looking up, down. Did you hear about the mother of 4 Marine killed and killed in the riot act? Is that the one that said that? No, I haven't heard that. Not to Biden. I heard one of them on Twitter. I saw a tweet where it said, you idiots who voted for a senile, imbecile, dementia-ridden president, you are the ones that murdered my son. Which I thought was very true. And exactly, Rich. So, it doesn't, what do you mean show it on a sphere? Don't have to. Don't have to. And I'll explain why in a second. Because at the distances we were doing, even on a sphere, the drop is almost 0. There it is. All right, let's do, what did we do? We did a 7 mile, 8 mile, 11 mile, and 17 mile. Let's take the biggest one. Convert 17 miles to meters.
The answer is 20.
Convert 18 miles to meters.
That would be 28,968.19 meters.
It was actually, The furthest one we did was 18 miles. So that was 28,000. I'll show you what I'm doing here. 968 meters. Just a moment. Let me find what I need to find here, then I can share it with you. How do you hit enter on this thing? I guess it does it automatically. All right, let me show you this. This is at our farthest distance. It's not even a quarter of a degree. Not even a quarter of a degree. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute. Doesn't change on a globe. We're not that far away. If you can't see the curvature at 67 miles, according to Neil deGrasse Tyson, you're definitely not going to see it at 18 miles. That's not it. Let's try it again. Let me get rid of some of these things. Okay, this was recommended by Holster X. All right, so this is one he likes. This was our farthest distance, 38,968 meters. Okay. There's your drop angle right there. 0.175 degrees. 0.175 degrees. And you're not even changing densities. The standard refraction bullcrap is going vertical like to 40,000 feet, where you do have a big change because it's so much thinner at the top. Let's see. Convert 7 miles to meters.
11,265.41 meters.
This is impossible too on a globe, even seeing this. Drop angle, 0.05. And yet, people are going to use standard refraction no matter what the distance and no matter what the real density changes are. It's crazy. You know what? I can actually show it. I think I can anyway. There we go. Let me get back to the stream. Sorry, guys, I haven't been able to see it. There's a video, me taking the readings. Pressure, altitude, density, dew point, relative humidity. It was all there, all documented. The air above the water was cooler at one time during the day. Not in the afternoon, or not in the evening, it wasn't. We went at a time when the air and water temperatures were almost identical. We didn't plan it that way, it's just the way it ended up. So, you see what I mean? He thinks, see, Igor, he says we're looking at it at 90 degrees. So we get the max refraction. He says we're looking at it at 90 degrees. You got it. You got it. So let's just say the density actually, we can't even use that with Snell's law because it doesn't It doesn't allow for that. So let's say we're at 1.00000 over land and 1.00001 over water, and our angle is 0.05 degrees. Yeah, we're going to get a lot of refraction there. Not. That's right, iron. Find bendy water, put it on a ball, spin it, let it sit there, let it stay bent. Just find bendy water. Yeah, come on. We're not talking about water in a little flask, which bends the wrong way for you guys, or a little raindrop sitting on a leaf. We're talking about oceans, big lakes. Never happens. People go out 20 miles in the middle of a frozen lake in the winter, and they're not standing on the top of a hump that's 20, that's, I don't know what 20 miles gives you, 120 feet higher than the edges. Please. Oh, interesting, Mark. I don't even know about this. Newbies and flat earth or globers need to watch A Mountain of Evidence. Shows videos showing visible mountain peaks, show no curve. Video maker is not a flat earther. So anyway, you don't have time to explain. Well, at least, Eager, you got it right. You were actually, I got to give you credit for one thing. 95% of the people here won't even engage. They'll make a statement like you did, like such and such is correct or this is correct. And then when you try to go down the path, nothing. It's like they don't exist anymore. It's like these people that think if you told someone, what does the word pseudo mean? Find pseudo. Not genuine, spurious, or sham. Not genuine, spurious, or sham. But then you say, how about pseudo force? A fictitious, define fictitious. A fictitious force. A pseudo force, a sham, is also called a fictitious force. Then you say, okay, define Coriolis. Now you have to be careful with this because they've changed certain things because they don't like it. So let me see. Let me find the right one. You actually have to look for it. They do great jobs at hiding truth now. This is close. This is by NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Put simply, the Coriolis effect makes things like planes or currents of air traveling along distances around Earth appear to move as curved. Well, we don't see anything appear to move as curved anywhere. So that's bullcrap. Here we go. In physics, the Coriolis force is an inertial or fictitious force that acts on objects that are in motion within a frame of reference that rotates with the frame. So if you are on a spinning merry-go-round and you throw a ball, you will throw the ball straight. You're not going to be a great curveball pitcher in major leagues, even though it looks like you would be. That ball is going straight, even though it looks to you like it's curving. That's the fictitious force. It looks like it's not a real force. It looks like it's curving. But they can't go there because the proof that the Earth spins is because high and low pressure systems go different ways in different hemispheres. But then when you ask them about it, they disappear from the chat. All you have to do is add some logic to it, like the Earth spins west to east. In the north, it spins west to east and the south too. So why do they spin differently? Same spin, same direction. Why do they spin differently? No one can answer because it's bullcrap. Mike says, fact, they can only say it's a mirage if they first know the distance of whether we should be able to see it on their ball. Exactly. Exactly, J-Reb. I like that you put it that way. Coriolis is a straight line, an optical illusion. That's all it is. It's an optical illusion if you're on a spinning ball, a frame of reference. And since we are on a spinning ball, supposedly, everything should appear curved when we throw it. Everything. And then you get people like Polster will say, well, you have to define. I mean, how much should it curve? It probably curves. You just don't know. Well, I think we're going faster than the merry-go-round on the playground. That's maybe going, I don't know, I'm guessing 30 miles an hour. We're spinning at 1,000 if you're near the equator. That's exactly right, Rich. Coriolis is what makes snipers miss. I mean, you know what? Is that video still there? I'm sure it is. That guy caught it just right. He came out with that bull crap just when Flat Earth was getting popular. Let me see. $2.2 million views this guy got. What a joker. I'll show you the video for those who haven't seen it. Check this out. Oh, I laughed because it's so stupid, and the people bought it. People on the globe side, if you said something about, oh, I thumbed it down, I wonder why, because it's so stupid. Demonstrating how Coriolis affects bullet drop at 1,000 yards. And he sold a lot of these guns, and he got a lot of advertising out of it because, look, 2,294,000. All right. Hey, look, I got the top comment on there. But they were like, see, this is the proof. And let me see if I can find it real fast. Oh, he goes into this. The Earth spinning. Nobody ever. Check the military. Check the military. That's where you're going to get. Everybody knows somebody that's shooting some weapon in the military. Chances are. Ask them if they correct for Coriolis. They'll laugh you. They'll laugh you to tears. They'll laugh to tears. Reminds me of the verse, the Lord shall have them in derision. The Lord shall laugh them to scorn. Come on, show the results. All right, here's his spread, right? And is this with or without the Coriolis? He actually misses worse when he corrects for Coriolis. And here's the other argument too. That's stupid. If you're going to use like, forget this crap. Oh man, a fictitious force, a pseudo force. It's not a force. It's an effect. Where's his first shot? Come on. I don't know, but if you go through this video, I'll drop a link here in a second. Let me just real quickly see if I can find his first one. I'm telling you, the first shot, if I remember correctly, was worse than the one when he corrected for Coriolis. All right, so he misses low the first time. What's he miss the second time? He misses to the right. Can this guy shoot? And high. And I'll bet you a good sniper goes out there, makes no adjustments. If he shoots 20 times in each direction, a very good sniper will score the same both times with no Coriolis correction. This is total 100% unadulterated trash. Go into a place where you can buy ammo and stuff like that. Go up to the counter and say to the guy, "How do I correct for Coriolis?" Hopefully, you won't get kicked out of the shop. Rich Spillman, very good. Do snipers adjust for refraction or long distance shots? I'll bet they don't, unless it's over water. That's a good point. Good point. I like it. Military can shoot over water. They can shoot over land, and they don't correct for refraction, and they don't correct for Coriolis either. It's bullcrap. That's right. Light rail gunshots well over a mile, and it's the supposed standard refraction that goes up, which I still think even that's bullcrap. You have these B-52 bombers and different stuff like that. They have the little target hairs or whatever. They're not, when they're over the target, when the crosshairs are where they're supposed to be, they drop the bombs. They don't have like a little thing saying, okay, we're at 40,000 feet. Standard refraction means it's really bent out to there. So we have to wait for the crosshairs to pass it by 20 degrees. Then we hit it. It's all crap. Everybody said, I asked, where's your globe map? There are people on the globe side that actually believe that people use globes to navigate around the world. I swear to God, they believe that. When I first heard that, I couldn't even reply. I was laughing so hard. Your friend was a Marine sniper. He never had heard of Coriolis effect. Exactly. Do you think the military would want to have the most on-target, deadliest shot you could get? Of course. No Coriolis. No Coriolis. Sorry. No Coriolis change. A lot of the missiles, I don't know about today, but a lot of the missiles and stuff like that in my day, they didn't have computers on board. They didn't all of a sudden, like if we were at such a latitude and we wanted to fire into Lebanon, the Sidewinder missiles on the ship, all we did was compute, okay, point at 080 degrees true and elevation 23 degrees, whatever. There was no additional calculation for Coriolis or Earth curvature, please. Coriolis is the effect you get from eating too many psilocybin mushrooms. Yeah, that's the only time Coriolis is true. You know, I've had a couple weird things happen to me lately, guys. A few days ago, Was it this week or last week? I think it was Monday. No, it wasn't Monday. Sunday. As I was leaving the gym, I got this feeling that I was going to die soon. And of course, it didn't scare me. I was like, okay. I just thought it was interesting. I was like, this is weird. Why am I thinking this way? I mean, I really got the feeling, hey, you're going to die soon. And maybe I will. Who knows? It went away, but it was interesting. Then, 2 nights ago, I had the most vivid dreams ever about, and I've never, as far as I know, dreamt about the afterlife, what it was going to be like and things like that. And it wasn't true, of course, but it's the first time I ever remember dreaming where I was actually feeling stuff, the texture of stuff, and the colors were so brilliant. It was an amazing dream, or dreams. I had them all night. Anyway, hey, thanks for stopping by, Mike. Thanks for the links as well. He says, keep the faith. Great stuff is happening right before our eyes. Even Dems are waking up from seeing this Biden experiment. Don't be discouraged. God bless. I still think some of the Dems need some toothpicks on their eyes to wake up, but who could not wake up with what's going on now? Yeah, the railgun's a globe. Any military weapon of any distance is the globe killer. Like I said, that the next time if I go through that series again and happen to see when they were talking about in World War I when Germany, when they got their long range artillery down to where they could hit anything, and until all of a sudden they were trying to hit a factory in France, and they decided they were going to put in curvature of the earth into the calculation, and they ended up hitting a church way off. And as far as I know, since then, no one's ever tried to take curvature of the earth into the equation. You want to mess up a shot, take Coriolis into effect. Not that it would. It's so stupid. Oh, and another thing in that guy's video, I'll get the link for you guys just in case you want to see the stupid thing. You can verify this. Oh, the lights are out at the White House, guys. I actually have the stream up. Same pattern we saw last time. Scattered bottom and top floor lights on. Maybe they're sending extremely slow Morse code with those lights. I don't know. But what happened? Oh, hopefully I didn't shut it. Oh, here it is. Demonstrating how Coriolis effect drops bullet at 1,000 yards. You know how fast a bullet travels, right? So if we throw a baseball, it's got a lot more hang time than a bullet. We should definitely see that sucker curve. But he doesn't give you, of course he doesn't give you, because it doesn't exist. He doesn't give you the, okay, well, what if you're, because I think he goes directly facing east to directly facing west. I think that's what he does. But what if you're facing 072 degrees? What's your adjustment then for Coriolis? Or 020 degrees or 184 degrees? What's your adjustment then for Coriolis? It's such bull crap. Baseballs, yeah. I mean, if we are spinning, when we throw a baseball, we're spinning a lot faster than those people in the National Geographic little merry-go-round thing we're doing. And the ball did this. It looked like it did that. The external camera showed it going straight, as it does. But we should see everything. Aircraft going overhead. Anything we see travel overhead should appear to curve to us because we're on a spinning reference point if the Earth is spinning. So we should be able to take a baseball and throw it from home plate to center field, and we should watch it curve, appear to curve. It's actually going straight, but it should appear to curve to us. So don't you know that outfielders, the reason why it's so hard to play outfield in Major League Baseball is because they think it's curving to the right, but they don't go there. They go straight. Everybody sees it going to right center, but they stay in center field and catch it, right? It's so stupid. That's right. Planes are in the air much longer. They don't curve. Nothing curves. We see Sometimes we have fast moving low clouds that'll go straight over our head and go into the distance. They don't appear to curve. Nothing curves unless you throw a curveball or something like that. Did he smoke before he went live? Coriolis isn't even a theory. Jason, what does affect spinning objects flight in the Magnus effect? What? Oh, what does affect spinning objects flight is the Magnus effect. I don't even know what the Magnus effect is, but I'll look it up here. Coriolis isn't a theory. It actually is a thing. You can demonstrate it. But it's an optical illusion. That's why it's a pseudo or a fictitious force. It's an illusion. It's like me pulling a bunny rabbit out of the hat. Do you think the bunny rabbit was really in the hat the whole time? It's an illusion. All right. Oh, okay. Magnus effect is a curveball or kicking a soccer with spin, that type of thing. Yeah. I'm talking about throwing like they did in the I can't show you the National Geographic thing. But I can get you the video link. You can watch it yourself because you just show a second of this thing and you will get a strike. National Geographic Coriolis effect. They explain it correctly. They demonstrate it. They demonstrate it. How it appears real. They have two cameras. They have a camera on the spinning platform, and they have a camera outside of the spinning platform. Outside of the spinning platform, the ball travels on a straight line. On the spinning platform, according to the camera and according to everybody's eyes, the ball curved. Einstein would say they're both true. Talk about more bullcrap. But there's the link for it. That's right. We call it English in billiards. Exactly. Now you can do that to stuff. Yeah, absolutely. But that's not what we're talking about with the Coriolis effect. See, it's not really a force. When you see Coriolis force, that's bullcrap. There's no Coriolis force. Stick says, did you see the unsanctioned rescue mission the ex-military spec forces operators organized this week in opposition to Pentagon and Biden administration? I heard something about it, but I think that was when I was doing all my car stuff. I don't know. It said something about the part I read was they said it was okay because it was otherwise they would have been doing an unlawful order to purposely leave people behind or whatever. That's how they justified it, and the right to justify it that way. Reference to shooting, the Magnus effect applies, because the bullet spins, right? I do agree with you about Coriolis too. Well, thank you, Jason. Yeah, yeah, I agree. Now that I know what it is, the Magnus effect, yes. That's exactly what pitchers do. I'm a baseball fan, so I relate a lot of stuff to that. They spin the ball fast. They get 2,200 rotations per minute or whatever. It makes the ball actually curve. And I remember growing up, you know what they used to say about pitchers throwing curveballs? They used to say that was an optical illusion. It's not real. It doesn't really curve. But then, of course, later on they had to eat their words and say, yeah, it actually does. Now they tell you exactly, hey, his curveball averages 9 miles per hour or 9 inches of either vertical, horizontal, or somewhere in between. They'll tell you. They have the analytics down so good now, so well. I will say it again. Say it, Carbide. My cousin is one of the top snipers in the Marines. There is no Coriolis effect. That's right. There is none. But see, the other side, that cuts into the cognitive dissonance. They've latched onto that because there's nothing else that they can really point to and say, oh, Yeah, that's what really the proof is of the Earth spinning is Coriolis effect. And they make these stupid, just like we get from NASA, they make these stupid little videos, you know, where they're like, if we took a paper airplane from Texas and threw it north, it would appear to curve towards the East Coast. And it's like, hello, we don't need to take a paper airplane. We have actual planes that will fly from Texas to whatever. They don't have to keep veering left to keep up with Coriolis. Yeah, knuckleballs can move a player out of his shoes. For those who don't know, there's a thing called a knuckleball. It's not really thrown with the knuckles. It's the fingertips are placed on the ball. And the ball actually doesn't spin. A good knuckleball doesn't spin at all. And what happens is then the air, if there's movement of the air, wind or whatever, it actually drives the ball. Not only does the pitcher not know which way it's going to bend or curve, but neither does the catcher. And the catcher usually has a big oversized mitt to try to catch it, or at least keep it in front of him. And when the conditions are right, curveballers are the best. I mean, knuckleballers are the best pitchers in baseball, but the conditions have to be right. Otherwise, you get pretty much a straight ball. You know, if there's not wind or the wind is parallel with the reference of home plate to pitcher. So you would have some of the real good ones who lasted a long time, like Charlie Huff or whatever. They had other pitches, so when the knuckleball wasn't doing what it should, wasn't knuckling, as they say, they had other pitches they could get you out with. That's right, Carbide. You would not. You would need a shooting computer for every shot in multi directions, not only direction by place on Earth. Absolutely, 100%, and your altitude, which is determined by what sea level. Still, is anybody on the other side ever going to answer whether they get where do you get sea level from? Wherever you live, you're so many feet above or below sea level, and where is that sea level taken from? It's it's even in the definition, right? Sea level. Level's this. Phil Nicker, yep. Phil Nicker, he was very good. I hated when he faced the Orioles. Would you have different spiral grooves, sniper belts for shooting in different directions for Coriolis? Well, that's interesting. If it was real. Yeah. Or you'd probably have a mechanism by now developed to where if you were facing a certain direction, it would you'd probably just flip a gear and it would spin it left or spin it right. But then if you're on a certain angle, it would have to spin it at different rates so that it still kept it straight. It's so stupid. It's like saying, yeah, we noticed that in World War I, the trench warfare, that we really think it went on so long because they were facing east-west, where the front lines, most of them were east-west. And so they didn't compensate for Coriolis. And so it just went on and on and on and on because they kept missing the shots. I'm being facetious, of course. I think it would make more sense to measure the sea level at places where there are no tides and use that. I mean, I still, let me look it up. Where is sea level measured from? Let's see what the answer is. I'm sure they have a bull crap. Oh my God. Oh my God. Are you ready for this, guys? This is how it's done. Oh my God. Check this out. They don't really answer the question of what I'm asking. I haven't laughed that hard since I saw that picture of the of Venus in front of the sun, and you can see the sun through Venus. Remember that? Because I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting that much incompetence, and there it was. Look at this. A satellite, Jason 2, What happened to Jason 1? GPS satellite. Then you have Jason 2 satellite. It's got an altimeter on it, and it's got a certain range. And it looks at the ocean floor. What? Doris station, laser station, ocean surface topography. I got to check this out. You're probably not seeing this, so let me get it on there. I have no idea what it's going to say. It's still not saying where in the sea are they measuring it from. All right, you guys have this? All right, let me make it larger. Let's just look at this for a little bit. See if we can get some useful information out of it. Measuring Sea Level by R.L. Stein. Measuring sea level using tide gauges. Measuring sea level using gauges has a 200-year history. Well, there weren't satellites 200 years ago, but okay. Today, the technology has changed, but the principles are the same as before. And some gauges provide very long and reliable records of water levels that can be used to observe sea level change. No, that's not what we're talking about. We want to know if you're over land and they say you're at 452 feet altitude above sea level, where is that sea level they're taking it from? Measuring sea level using satellite altimetry. Bull crap. With the advent of satellite altimetry in the 1960s, really, measurements of the sea surface took on a new whole level of accuracy. Between 1996 and 2006, what happened to the 60s? Altimetry took off with multiple satellites orbiting the Earth. How do they know how high they are? They're supposed to be constantly falling if they're in orbit, providing much better coverage of data resolution. Do they take that into account that they're constantly falling towards Earth, yet they never hit? Oh, I saw something the other day that said that the LEM, or the service module for Apollo 11, is still orbiting the moon. By definition, in orbit, you must be falling. That was 50 years ago. These measurements utilize multi-beam methods that are very precise and can measure changes in elevation on the Earth's surface to great precision in the range of centimeters. These methods have shown that water bodies are not flat, but are incredibly dynamic and have high and low spots. High and low spots due to factors such as gravitational variability described above. All right. Sea level is also measured locally by tide gauges and averaged over tidal cycles. But what if you're in Kansas? Where are you using sea level? They're measured from floating buoys, which also may be used to detect tsunami waves. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Actually, that's bullcrap right there. That is bullcrap. Buoys are one of the worst things to detect tsunami waves. Why? Because out at sea, a tsunami wave is no different than any other wave. Now, if it's real close to shore, yeah, it might detect it, but what's it going to give you? 5 seconds warning? See, when you get into stuff that I know about, I can see the bullcrap right off the top. These precisely measure changes centimeters. It's not shown. It's not described above. Gravitational variability. Data such as ocean circulation, sea level rise, which is bullcrap, doesn't exist, and wave heights can be measured. These measurements have provided insights to the links between the ocean and the atmosphere and how the connections drive climate. Bullcrap. Now they're saying it didn't start till 1992. Satellite altimetry data collection began in earnest with the launch in 1992 of Topex. Isn't that a toothpaste? Anyway, precision joint satellite mission between NASA and CNES, the French. Oh boy. Now I'm really impressed. The French are in on it. Topex Poseidon provided data previously impossible to obtain. Jason satellites. They have been collecting. Wasn't Jason the one that was killing people on Halloween? It was launched in 2001. Jason 2 was launched in 2008. Jason 3 is presently collecting altimetry data. Each mission lasts about 5 years. Meanwhile, the European Space Agency's Sentinel-3 satellites collecting similar data as shown below. How do they see the ocean floor from outer space? Oh my God. Ellipsoid. What is this? Sea level anomaly data, not from European Sentinel satellite data. Data shows differences in sea surface height compared to the mean. Cool colors represent lower sea levels, warm colors represent high sea levels. So what they're saying is, where it's red here, those sea levels are higher than where it's blue. What? Then that means the red would flow to the blue. Always. Oh, here you have red and blue right next to each other. Interesting. Look at this. Here's a red that's surrounding a blue. And yet the red doesn't flow to the blue. Unadulterated trash again. Man, oh man. Carbide, you don't understand tides, where and why only oceans. I have a theory, but it's just a theory. It is connected to the moon. It's not gravitational. I think the moon is in the waters above, and it either magnetically or physically pushes it, water, pulls or pushes water magnetically as it moves. I have shown in videos on my channel that it is not a gravitational connection. There is a connection, but it's not gravitational. So I just have a theory. It is connected to the moon. But you can have the moon over some area and it's having low tide. You can have it over another area and it's having high tide. And such and such and so on. And in between, all in betweens, they exist too. But it's not variable. So if in Honolulu, they have a high tide when the moon is overhead, they will always have a high tide when the moon is overhead and when the moon is opposite of their location. But on the east coast of the United States, they'll have a low tide when the moon is overhead and a low tide when the moon is on the opposite location. And then you have places that are in between. That's right. Good, very good, Carbide. Could be the Earth breathing in a way. There is a connection to the moon, but again, it is not gravitational. And all I got from the other side was, I mean, you just point out that what they're saying is it's just, all you have to do is look at the data. Just look at the data. Oh, I don't understand tides. Okay. That's right. We talked about that, Carbide. Voyager 1 sent some data. We sent a signal to it. It's so many billions and billions of miles away now. 11 billion. We looked at the number. 9 billion, 11 billion. Maybe even way more than that. Maybe 109 billion. I don't know. It was way out there. And they even came up with bull crap on why something that distance, we could still get a signal from it. It's unbelievable. The crap that they, I swear, I think they're doing this stuff to see how much they can put on the people to see what they'll swallow. Look what they've gotten people to do in the last year and a half that they actually believe is helping themselves. Always go by CDC guidelines. Like I said, I made a joke. I said, if they told you, the government or the media or both, because they're all in cahoots, they told you that if you stuck your thumb up your butt for a certain period of time every day, it would prevent disease. I'm not saying what disease. People would do it. I'm telling you that you'd see people doing it. And right after that, 2 or 3 months after that, the Chinese were taking the swabs and sticking them up people's butts to detect COVID. And the people were allowing it. Later, they apologized. Yeah, we don't need to do that. They're just seeing how far they can take people. They can take them a long way. It's searching for Carl Sagan. Drones take height from control box. If you fly a drone over 100 8-foot drop. It doesn't show minus height. Interesting. Like I said, if you have a drone that supposedly uses satellites, it will not use those satellites if there is no cell towers. It won't work. And then people say, don't you know, Rich, that the cell towers are transmitting from the satellites? No, they're not. Do your research. Nowhere do they say that they're tied into satellites. They're not. But they have to have stuff like that for their idiotic system to make sense. But we're the idiot stupids, right? We're the stupid people. I had a couple real winners I haven't had in a while. One was the other day. It was from an old video. Somebody posted on there. How does it feel to know that 10-year-olds in school know more about the Earth than you do? Or what was it? It wasn't. Don't you feel stupid? Oh, aren't you ashamed that 10-year-olds in school know more about the Earth than you do? And I wrote back and said, no, I'm more ashamed of someone like you being an adult that believes that someone 10 years old knows more than anybody else when all they're being done is told. They could be told that the Earth is diamond shaped. And if everybody around them says it's diamond shaped, a 10-year-old is going to say the Earth is diamond shaped. It's just the way it is. Listen, if you're a flat earther, that's okay. But if you only talk to other flat earthers about it on social media, that's all you talk about. Sorry, but it's pretty lame. There's more to life. I don't talk to people on social media, so I can't believe what people talk to other people about on social media. It's usually nonsense. I mean, total nonsense. Yeah, V'ger Search for Star Trek Captain. What a horrible movie that was, wasn't it, Mark? My opinion. Oh, I was so let down by that movie. I was like, yeah, Star Trek's finally coming out with because I was always a big Star Trek fan. They're coming out with the movie. Went and saw it. I was so disappointed. It's like, I haven't been this disappointed since Star Wars. I wasn't even that disappointed at Star Wars. No, I get you, Weston. Yeah, I get you. I don't follow anybody on social media. I mean, I guess I do because every now and then, I don't know how this works, but every now and then a tweet will come through in my notifications. And I am so little on Twitter. I just had to search for it. Wow. I haven't been on Twitter at all, even because I'll click on it if it gets through to me. Since August 22nd, I guess I was on there. I don't even remember reading this on August 22nd. It had to do with the Orioles. Add your birthday to your profile. Sorry, no, I don't want you to know my date of birth. Then a few months later, add your Social Security to your profile. Add your address to your profile. What do you mean people are getting loans in your name? He confronted a reporter live on air, and now there's a warrant for his arrest. We live in interesting times. Oh, my God. City of Tempe, looking like a great start to this vaccine event. Stop by anytime between now and 6 p.m. Want to see something that turns my stomach? See stuff like that. Where's the other picture? And this. Yeah, it's because they're drawing when they should be doing something else. Right, YouTube? At least they're going by CDC guidelines. You can always tell. You can always tell when politically, for example, the more liberal cities in baseball, look at the fans. They tend to be wearing something in common, a lot of them. You go to the conservative areas, they're not wearing the same stuff, if you know what I mean. And guess what? Nobody's healthier than the other. But the Orioles just went to Toronto, and I'm looking at the stands like, why are 90% of the people, it seems like, or 80%, wearing something. But it wasn't mandated because, I don't know, 10% of the people weren't wearing it. I was like, oh, it's Toronto. I get it. Nobody talks about concave Earth because it makes no sense. We used to talk about concave Earth. Makes no sense. The further you get away from something, the higher it should get in concave Earth. Makes no sense. I actually at one point wanted to believe concave Earth. You know why? Because the sun, moon, and stars, you could really do that easy with that model. I mean, easy. But the rest didn't work. In fact, that's why I looked at it, because sun, moon, and stars really made sense in that model. And then when I started actually looking at the Earth itself, I was like, ugh, sorry, no, it doesn't work. You guys have an opinion on the black lights popping up in certain areas? Black lights? Apparently the narrative is that the globes are faulty. I don't understand that. Black lights? Also, Robert says because Earth is measurably flat. Wouldn't water also have to do this too then? It would have to be shaped like this? Yeah, it would have to. See, water shaped like this, like the bowl, a bowl, because that's what concave Earth is. The water on the edges, we all know would flow down. And the opposite is true if you go the other way. The water in the middle would flow down. This is demonstratable everywhere. You can't take a fishbowl, pour water in it. All right. I don't care what the shape of it is on the bottom, it'll be flat on top. Go to a swimming pool, do the same thing, or a bathtub, a swimming pool. Then go to an Olympic swimming pool. You know, there are idiots that actually say, oh, you know, an Olympic swimming pool in the middle, it's actually 2 millimeters higher, the water, than on the edges. That's like saying the idiots that say there are tides rich in Lake Michigan. They're like 2 millimeters or 2 centimeters or something. It's like, oh, that should be easy to demonstrate. That should be easy to really prove. 2 millimeters change. Yeah, these people are just wacko. Everything is a lie, Westing. So the point of the globe is to cover the lies of Big Bang, dinosaurs, and evolution. Well, Big Bang is definitely a lie. That is impossible, even just by pure logic. It's impossible. And it goes against the second law of thermodynamics, which I believe in, entropy. And evolution is demonstratively false as well. 100% demonstratively false. We'll start with evolution. Then we'll get, well, I don't know about dinosaurs. I don't care really. And I don't think they existed, but I can't prove whether they did or didn't. I mean, I've seen dinosaurs on oil, on gas stations before, so maybe it's true. Evolution needs species in transition. It needs an ape man. It needs somebody in between. All right. It needs things in the sea constantly crawling up on the land. What came first, the lungs or the breath? If you never breathe, there's no reason to develop lungs. Make sense? There's nothing. You can't demonstrate anything in transition. So evolution cannot be demonstrated to be true. It's false. Demonstratively false. We should see it in all aspects from the amoeba went up to humans. We should see all the steps in between. We don't. Doesn't exist. Big Bang says, they say nothing exploded and became the universe. So an explosion caused order. which is the exact opposite of the second law of thermodynamics. And you can't have nothing suddenly explode. It makes no sense. Remember on the one stream we did, guys? Someone on the other side said, nobody says nothing exploded. So I gave them the link. It's like an hour and a half video, 2 scientists up there explaining how nothing exploded and became the whole universe. So, no, the point of the globe isn't to cover the lies. The point of the globe is to go along with the lies, to enhance the lies, because they all lead to no God, don't they? If anything ever existed, how did it get there? How did it get there? If anything ever existed, and it does, how did it get there? We know it is impossible to get something from nothing, unless it's the U.S. government. But anyway, you can't get something from nothing. Impossible. You can't take concrete, steel, bricks, and porcelain, and concrete powder and water, dump it all in one big pile, explode it, and expect an 18-story building to come out of it. Doesn't work that way. That's essentially what they're saying the Big Bang is, except without the material. And what are we expanding into? The universe, one song. That's what Asha transfers. There's nothing else but the universe. The ever-expanding universe. What is it expanding into? You have to start changing your definitions of things for these things to even have a chance of being true. They all tie into there's no God. When there's no God, you start to look to others to lead you. Others become more important. The globe Earth, the little speck going through a nothingness of space, we mean nothing in the whole vast configuration of things. Whereas, if you go by the biblical model, we are the center. Everything revolves around us, meaning we're the most important. We are the highest beings on that earth that everything is revolving around. We are the most important. We are the most important thing to God there is. But you lose track of that if you believe in Big Bang, evolution. I don't think dinosaurs makes a difference. And the globe, spinning globe. The Catholic Church paid Copernicus, paid him to come up with an alternative theory. They wouldn't even publish it when he was alive. They thought it was so outlandish. But then some smarter people thought it through and said, oh, if we come out with this, they'll be more inclined to go by our leadership and us for guidance, because they will seem less important. Now, they knew what they were doing. And it all came together with all these things together. Trust the government. Don't trust God. Trust the government. Trust the religious leaders. It's not so much the religious leaders today, because we live in a different kind of world. But back in the 1400s, it was all religious leaders. They were the gods of the earth. They were the rulers, bishops, and the Pope, and cardinals, and all. They ruled the world. They really did. Think male and female of a kind could evolve independently and then union to form another is beyond the pale of nonsense. But people believe it, don't they, Iron? It is. It's just, it's so illogical. But like I said, sticking your thumb up your butt, if it prevented, or you were told it prevented certain things, people, I guarantee you, people would do it, and more than you would think. Now, this is not going against CDC guidelines, because they've never said this. They've never said, wear a mask in your car when you're driving by yourself. Do you see people doing that nonsense? All the time. I'm sorry, but most people are just downright dumb. Not their own fault as far as their intelligence level, but it's their own fault because they believe authority, and they've never thought outside the box. Very good choice there, Sticks. Jesus or Neil deGrasse Tyson, pick one. And that's really what you pick. Or Jesus or Darwin. Pick one. Yeah, Leo, shows you how math can twist reality. And they've had a lot of hundreds of years to work out the math. That's why the distances to the different stars and planets and sun and all that have changed. Oh, that doesn't quite work. It must be further away. Okay, it's this distance. It's like I said, I think it's either CBS or ABC. I think it's the CBS feed. I don't think I could stomach it again to watch it, to find it. I think it's Walter Cronkite. He gets the distance to the moon. And they were like 10 or 12,000 miles off from what they say it is today. So how the hell did they get there? Plain truth picks the Pope. And that's your choice. The deal is, in the end, everybody chooses God. God does win in the end. But in the meantime, he allows people to be as stupid as they want to be. Is that why someone wiped Biden's butt? Probably someone has to. He gets done going to the bathroom. What did I forget? Nothing. Why is Sophia a better telescope than Hubble? Is Sophia the one that's in the plane? There's still guillotines in the back of some churches. They say, I have no reason to say it's not true because I've read enough things about it, that every Catholic church, every single one, has to have human bones underneath of it. And I'm not just picking on the Catholics, because the Protestants did the same thing. The Reformation was just bullcrap. All right, guys, I think I'm going to go. I made it 2 hours. Can't believe I made it 2 hours, but I did. We got about half the normal people. It's because nobody knows. I keep trying to tell people. So for the next week at least, you're not going to get a notification on Thrive and Survive, because I was bullying and harassing guest Julian Assange or Q, or I don't understand it. And I don't even want to challenge it, because I can't even see the video to know what they're saying happened, because they take it down. And then they send you a thing. You want to dispute it? It's like, that was 2 years ago. I don't know what I said in that video, but I know I wasn't bullying and harassing anybody. John, you always catch the end of the show. Where are you located, John? John 11. Or should I call you, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God? Me and Mike Ball argue over that one. You know, the whole thing with John 1:1, by the way. There are scholars, because it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. But the people that don't want to go there with Jesus Christ being God, they find Greek experts, and they look at the text and they say, that's not what it's really saying. Then you even get the Jehovah's Witnesses who will argue it actually says was a God. Anyway, and then John 1:14, and the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, so there's no doubt it's Jesus Christ. You'll get the same amount of experts on the other side who say, no, that's exactly correct what it's saying. You can't go by the experts. You can't go by Greek experts, because you can find them on both halves of the coin. I swear you can. I was in a church where the guy that was the head of the church was an expert in Koine Greek. And he said, in the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God, is 100% correct. But you can find tons of experts who say, no, it's not correct. So you can't go by that. That's humans. You have to go by other scriptures to put it together. God gave us enough. So anyway, I just wanted to throw it in there real quickly. Yeah, I heard that Obama and the 30,000 guillotines. Melbourne, Australia, no wonder. You know what? You're going to have to catch some of our Friday marathons. Sometimes we go, I think the longest was 4 hours, 36 minutes. I'm 2 hours into this. So that's 2 hours later than what it is right now. What's the time right now in Melbourne? Universal Planisville Patent. Haven't heard of that, Mark. All Greek Orthodox believe Jesus is God. Oh, that's interesting. They should know, the head of those churches should know Greek. 2:35 p.m. Oh, interesting. You're in prime. See, most of the people we have, like GoPro in the UK, she's real early in the morning now. She's probably 3, 4 in the morning right now. I'm assuming it's she. Maybe it isn't she. Australia. But I think, my opinion, when you look at all the scriptures and put it all together, as I've said it before, and we'll end with this. Jesus was God, emptied himself, as Paul said, when he came as flesh. So he wasn't God on the earth. And then, as Jesus said, restore me with the glory I had with you before he came to the world. When he went back, he was restored. Great documentary channel on YouTube called Is Genesis History. Great stuff. Hey, that sounds cool. I'm always into anything that talks about history. And if it's the Bible, it's even better. Is Genesis History. Full movie online free. Oh, it says buy or rent. Wait a minute. All right, it just loaded up in my history, so I'll be able to see it. We use the Texas Receptus, which maintains the doctrine that Jesus is God. See, I don't think, I appreciate that, but I don't think God left it to us to have to be that. I mean, something that can be, if it can be that torn apart, God would know that in advance and would give us other ways to tell. To me, there's a lot of reason you have to go to the original language. All right, Neil, I'm going to check it out. I do trust you. Like I said, to me, there's other scriptures that are there, but I'll pull Strong's Concordance out a lot of times here on this channel. Because there are unfortunate words that were deliberately left there, especially words like hell, hellfire, things like that are not the original words. And they had an agenda when it was being put in there. And you can show that agenda. I say it all the time. In the Old Testament, you have the word Sheol, which just simply means the grave. It's where you go when you die. But it's translated as hell. Okay. They used hell as the grave in England in 1611. But the translators knew. Because when they got to David, instead of him being in hell, like everywhere else they used it, all of a sudden they translated it to grave. Because they couldn't have David there. So they knew. Hundreds of children being hospitalized due to attempted suicide. Yeah, I can't believe. We talk about it here, John 1:1, that the one advantage the United States has, even though the biggest disadvantage is people are asleep here, the one advantage is there are so many people that own guns and multiple guns. It's even way more than what the military has. So there's enough people that even if the United States military was unleashed on the American people would win. They were just, I mean, it's like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-1, whatever, outnumbered. And most of the military would be on the people's side anyway. Many of the documentaries on the channel about evidence of the flood and how sick it's not. That's excellent to know. Thank you, Neil. I look forward to that. If we knew the original is really the original, Dead Sea Scrolls. Yeah, never mind. You're right. You don't trust the Catholic Church to choose what book should or shouldn't be part of the Bible. The original King James canon had the Apocrypha in it. Then it was taken out later. And because it was taken out later, this goes back to if you stick your thumb up your butt, you won't get a disease. It's the same thing. Oh, it's not in there, so it's not part of the Bible. Man took it out. It was in there. Nope, it's not part of the Bible. God would want it in there, he'd have it in there. Well, you know, a lot of those apocryphal books actually predict that they will be lost, and in the last days they will come back. It's very interesting. Yeah, Special Forces definitely on our side. Sticks. Yeah, that's a good question. John, do you expect the people to fight back? Or are they fighting back? Lockdown for almost 200 days and 18 months. That's The problem is many people in Melbourne have codependent syndrome to the government. That's why they try to do it here, John 1-1. The more people they can get dependent on government is the exact same reason. It's control. The more you're connected to the government monetarily or for aid or for assistance in some way, the more you tend to trust them, no matter what they say. And that's where our society is right now. GoPro, are you a female or male? I assumed female, but I shouldn't assume that. Universal Penance Field is based on the Gleason map. That's a great map. You know, I have this giant Gleason map. I haven't even unpacked it yet. It's still rolled up in its thing. Many want to fight back with the police are brutal. Want to fight back with the police are brutal. Angus says, yeah, and they took your guns first. This is why and particularly the liberals here want your guns. They want the Second Amendment to be taken away out of the Constitution. And it's the only one they haven't really grabbed yet. They've grabbed the first one, the First Amendment. I mean, look what happened in the last so many months. You couldn't assemble. You couldn't go to church. You couldn't sing in church. They told you what businesses could be open and closed. You've lost several of them. You've lost the Fourth Amendment, right to privacy. You've lost it. In Michigan County, they are sending mail ordering you to vax. Well, as long as it's with CDC guidelines, Carbide, don't go against it. Gee, there's a movie on Netflix called First They Killed My Father. The name should have been First They Took Our Guns. Port Arthur was a false flag to take our guns. All right, guys, I'm going to end it here. 2 minutes and 2 hours, 14 minutes almost. So lively chat tonight. I liked it. I enjoyed it tonight. Didn't really have too much of a subject. Mike Law is the eternal optimist on the Arizona audit and everything else. I'm not an optimist or a pessimist. He thinks I am. He's like, how can you go through life in despair? It's like I consider myself a realist. If I don't see it happening, why should I think things are going to be different? I hope it's happening, but I just haven't seen proof of it happening. And I've gone from being optimistic and saying this is going to happen, and just watch or whatever, and then nothing happens. Then I have to become a realist and say, show me the money, you know? So I'll thank you. Never mind. Yeah, thanks. Hello, Bonnie. Good night. And GoPro already answered. See, I don't see all the comments. I miss a lot. Not on purpose. They just fly by. I don't see the answer. I'm looking real fast. Oh, a bloke. You know what? I actually saw that, but it didn't register because that's not a term we use here. But I get it. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you, GoPro. Sorry about the assumption there. I don't know why I assumed that. Anyway, yeah, have a good afternoon, bloke. I'm glad you stopped by too, Neil G. Stop by again. There's the theme right there, Aaron FE. Fix 2020 or 24 means nothing. And I don't want to hear about people running for, I don't want to hear about Trump out there trying to get people in the Senate in 2022 and the House and all that. Stop already. Stop. We've gone through that before. All right, guys. God bless. 2 days from now, if everything works right, maybe we'll have more of a marathon on Friday. And it looks like the temperatures might be a little bit lower. So if I can get Charlie out earlier and it's not going to rain or something like that, that messes that up. Maybe we'll go a half hour early on Friday. We'll see. But it will be on Wake the Republic only. Okay? Wake the Republic only. Because I was bullying and harassing, I guess, Julian Assange or somebody a year and a half, 2 years ago. So until that channel comes back, we're just here. And we might be here forever because one day I know I'm going to turn around and say, your channel's gone. So God bless. Good night. Please thumbs up the video. If you feel like supporting the channel, I really greatly appreciate it. Links are in the description. And see you back Friday, guys. You take care until then. Bye-bye.